Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, joins us to respond to some of these issues on open grazing. Madam Garba Shehu, great to have you on Newsnight again. So let's start from the very beginning. The statement that you made, a lot of people are saying, including the governor of Ondo State, they're saying that does not represent the president. What say you?
Well, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. And to say that I think that people are just blowing hot air over an issue. Because the objective of the southern governors and the objective of the president are basically the same. The only difference is the approach. The president wants to see an end to open grazing. He wants to see ranching, but he wants it in a way that is organized. And he has a plan for it, and this plan will take off in June. All of these attacks that are coming, they are not coming, people just, I think, are in the mood to just exchange blows. When you read the statement, the president seeks to end the roaming of herders across the land. He wants them confined to specific places where their cattle will have the greens that they need, the fodder and the water. This is their basic need. And the president is saying, okay, this is the plan for states that are willing. People are talking about seizure of land. One particular governor is even warning, say, President, keep out of my state. Don't come here with this thing. What is all this about? I think there should be respect for the president. There should be respect for common sense. Nobody is forcing anybody to do what they don't like. The statement clearly said, states that are willing and that meet the basic requirements. There will be models, and I'm sure those that say no to it, they will in due course, when they see the workability, they will change their minds and then they will come in tow. So the president seeks an end to whatever they call it, a cake, old-fashioned. Yes, it is a cake, it is old-fashioned. We need to replace it with something new. The problem with when you say you slam a ban and you don't say what next, what options, what are the alternatives, how do we go forward? We are saying that's a show of power. So let's work together. The president and the governors, they seek the same objective, but we are following different methods. I think that's basically the thing.
With the southern governor's approach. And are you saying that statement, that what they have done or said, in wanting to ban open grazing, amounts to acts of politicking and an attempt to show or demonstrate power? Well, you just repeated that. Are you saying that is exactly what the president's mind is? Or you actually just spoke for yourself? And as a matter of fact, the southern governors did not only raise the issue of open grazing, they also talked about restructuring and, of course, state police against the backdrop of the security challenges in Nigeria. Why did you choose to, address the issue of ban on open grazing alone?
Well, it is because the president has a formula. He has found a solution to a problem that worries him, perhaps more than any other citizen of this country. Today in this country, there are people who falsely accuse the president of so many things, including linking him to some of these unwanted acts. The president of Nigeria has a responsibility for every citizen. And I think that from mistakes that we have seen in other countries, it is wrong to generalize blame. It is not every herder who is also a criminal. There has been infiltration of their ranks. There are people who carry AK-47 and they kill, they rape. And I thought 2 months ago, the president gave a clear-cut directive. Whoever is found to be carrying an AK-47 unlawfully, shoot him if he does not surrender the weapon. What more is anyone expected to do? So please let us stop this shadow boxing and face the facts. All of these things, you just brought in 1-2 people here saying things that nobody said from our own end. Did the president say he doesn't support, he is opposed to the way that they have chosen to do it? And very soon, we will get there. They will wake up one day and they'll find that the herders who drive their cattle, not only in the south, but in the north, to eat up crops in the farmlands, they have found where they have water, they have fodder, they have greens, they have clinics for their cattle, and schools for the children. So they don't have to even move away from where they ordinarily
Malam Garba Shehu. Okay, let me ask you this then. Let's move away from the open grazing and let's move on to other things. Governors across the country, north, west, east, and south, in large numbers, have indicated that there is a need to rein in this issue of insecurity by creating state policing. Members of the National Assembly recently made it clear that state policing is most likely the next best option because this level of insecurity is unbelievable, incredible. So what is the position of the president on that one?
The president initially had concerns that states in the country that are unable to pay salary, they also want to employ policemen and give them guns. And you know what that means. You keep a policeman, hire a policeman, give him a gun, and for 1 year you don't pay him salary as you are doing to your teachers and the nurses. That's a problem. But the issue of changing the constitution, of creation of requires alteration of the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari does not and is not standing in the way of this. What is required is for the democratic process to be allowed to work. There's a parliament that is elected, which is the repository of the sovereignty of the Nigerian people. And the Nigerian parliament is in the process of amending the constitution. They have outlined a tour program, zonal hearings that are taking place. Why don't you go there? Why don't you put your case to them? I can assure you that if it is the view of Nigerians convinced that they need state police in an amended constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari will not stand in the way.
What you're saying seems to be contradicting itself, because on the one hand, you say that the president will support it. On the other hand, you're saying that the states don't seem to have the wherewithal across board, because there are some states that are fine financially, but those who are struggling, you're saying that the president has concerns that they will not be able to pay policemen, and if you don't, you know the criminality will increase. Is that a clear position of the president, that unless the states have the financial strength to pay policemen, then it will be pointless? He will not have the support of the president.
No, sir. If you rewind the tape, you will hear what I said. I said his initial position had been this concern. But if it is the view of Nigerians that they would have state police, the president will not stand in the way. I hope I'm very clear. I certainly will be very comfortable with state police in Lagos. In my personal view, I'll be comfortable with the state police in Rivers State because they have the means to pay. That's my view.
Okay, so it should depend on the purse of each state to go the way of state policing. Let's talk about restructuring, which is one of the things that the southern governors called for. There seems to be a penchant on the part of the government, the federal government, to think that those calling for restructuring are simply calling for secession. Why is that?
I'm not sure there's any organ of the Nigerian government which is so confused as to say that restructuring is the same thing as secession. The people who are advocating secession are well known. Their godfathers are seen pushing them to do it. But a call for restructuring has been there even before the APC took power. And the language in the APC constitution for restructuring is devolution of powers. And the party is still committed to devolution of power. And this is to be done through the parliament. And whether we like it, we like them or not, the 8th Senate, the reps, had started on these things. All these things we are now witnessing about financial independence of the judiciary, of the local governments, and the state legislatures is all part of the devolution of power. And the APC is committed to doing even more, following the procedure outlined by the Constitution of the Federal Republic.
If you say the APC is committed to doing that, exactly how soon will the APC, set the ball rolling on the issue of restructuring? There are many Nigerians, top Nigerians, politicians, both even within the APC and, of course, the PDP, who are saying no 2023 presidential election without restructuring, because whoever emerges in 2023 with the present structure of the federation may just go the way of, failure at best. How soon will restructuring happen, if indeed this government wants it to happen?
It is ongoing already. The National Assembly has a Constitution Review Committee under the Deputy Senate President. They have a calendar for zonal hearings. In the coming days, they will come near you, near myself, and whoever has an issue to raise for or against any section of the Constitution, they are free to go and table it. Anybody who is saying there will be no election in 2023 is saying so because they are unelectable. And they are the loudest people we have in the country.
Now, help us understand this shoot on sight that you mentioned moments ago, the order from President Muhammadu Buhari as far as, pushing back secessionist tendencies in the Southeast. That shoot on sight directive seems to be have been taken to another level by security agencies there, where you find a situation of bombardments every day. These are being reported from the Southeast. How is the president responding to this?
In fact, it's a very interesting thing also we are seeing on the social media and on people who by instinct don't like President Muhammadu Buhari. We have heard these statements being made by... I have covered the president these last 6 years. I know that he has given a standing directive for anyone carrying AK-47 across the federation without lawful authority to surrender or be shot. I have not on record seen any speech that the president has read in which he gave a specific directive in respect of the Southeast. And the people have been saying this thing, and it's amazing and for all of us here, because we don't seem to know how and when the president gave that directive. And if they have a proof of it, I think they should tender it. A nationwide directive, yes, but people who want to provoke the anger of our brothers and sisters in the Southeast from some other zones, are even making certain inflammatory remarks that would not help the ongoing situation in the country. And I think that whether anybody likes the president or no, he's the president of Nigeria, elected by a majority of votes. And he has a right to rule, he has a right to govern until 2023.
Okay, very quickly then, let's just clarify this. Are you implying that the president did not give the directive? Is it a federal government directive from the office of the president or not?
Please help me. If there's any directive specific to the Southeast, a directive across the federation, yes, I'm aware of.
It is it's a position of the president. Okay, let's move away from that very quickly then. Let's talk about INEC. Election 2023 seems to have come very, very early, and the level of insecurity and attack on infrastructure of INEC is becoming an insurrection that looks like it's going to stop election. What's the position of the president on this?
Well, I agree. It's very disturbing that offices of INEC, offices of the police are being set alight in parts of the country by anarchists. And I believe that the law enforcement is efficient enough to deal with the ongoing challenge. Does anybody want to stop election in 2023? President Buhari is not interested in third term. He's not cut out for that. So there will be election in 2023. And we'll get there, God willing.
The statement, après moi le déluge, has been used severally as far as the issue of the fact that, what you just raised, that the president is not running for a third term. It's almost like the president has nothing to lose. Let's talk about very, very quickly before we let you go. Of course, there's a huge gap created by the unfortunate death of the Chief of Army Staff. What is the process now of getting a new one, and where is that likely to come from? In 1 minute, if you can.
The president is responsible for the choice and appointment of service chiefs. It is entirely in his domain. Nobody has a role in that other than the president. He will decide.
Okay, so we'll let you go now, but just as you're going, why was the president not at the burial of the Chief of Army Staff? Just a very quick answer so that we can let you go.
Well, I was in Europe myself on assignment. I have not spoken to the president on this. But let me give you just one example. The president is somebody who is so concerned about the safety and well-being of ordinary Nigerians on the streets. Do you know why he now prays his Jumu'at in the State House? He doesn't go to the National Mosque because he doesn't like this idea of closing roads, security men molesting people, innocent people on the roads, for the president to have the right of way. These are small things for many people, but they're important for President Muhammadu Buhari. So it's a mourning situation, and the president didn't want to take away attention from that.
Okay, simply that's the reason why the president did not attend that funeral. Thank you so much, Mr. Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media. Thank you for joining us.